Welcome to another episode of the Northfield Area Chamber podcast. This is our second podcast, and I'm excited to be here with Dave Neuger, longtime Northfield resident and owner of Neuger. So Dave, welcome. Thanks for joining me today, and I look forward to the next few minutes with you.
Thanks for having me here. It's great to be here.
So I've been in Northfield since 95, but that time, the first 6-7 years, I commuted to St. Paul to work every day.
Oh, is
so
that right?
I had very little to do with Northfield.
Yeah.
Very little. So my husband commuted to Albert Lea, and I commuted to St. Paul. It was he always wanted to live on a lake, so we found a spot, and commuted for years.
So what did you do in St. Paul?
I was actually in healthcare sales.
Oh, really?
There was a pilot project. We worked for Medicare and Medicaid pilot project called Minnesota Senior Healthcare Option.
Oh, really?
And when seniors would become eligible for medical assistance, we would meet with their adult children and enroll them into this program run by social workers and nurse practitioners, rather than the cost and time of physicians.
Uh-huh.
So right there, it was a little more care, more personalized care at a less expense, because of the caseload of the nurse practitioners was less intense than physicians. And using common sense on when Medicare benefits were most beneficial, people didn't need to qualify like a 3-day hospital stay in order to get Medicare benefits to kick in.
Yeah.
This program could access those kinds of benefits without the regulatory piece behind it.
Gotcha.
So,
Gotcha.
and at the time, I could work from home with all my appointments, go up there and setting up and educating
Right.
on the phone, going up there. There's a lot of evenings and weekends trying to reach the adult children in their evenings and weekends when
Right.
they're not working. And not to be a pessimist, but my old boss said, I don't care if you work from a tree, as long as you get you meet the goals.
Yep.
My new boss wanted me in the seat every day,
Oh, is
8
that
o'clock. And he said my evenings and weekends were gravy. And my kids were 2 and 3, and they were in daycare, and I
Yeah.
said, they're more important. So,
Right.
so I quit. So
I have the opposite story. I commuted down to Northfield for a year with our older 2 kids, so that we knew we were going to move down here.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working at St. Olaf at the time, so we didn't want to switch them in the middle of the school year, so we started them down here thinking we'd
sure.
be a couple months before we moved down. Well, it ended up being about 8 months. So I commuted with our old 2 kids, which made for long days for them, but it worked out fine.
yeah, I considered bringing my kids to daycare in St. Paul, but we found a space here in Northfield. Loved her. So home daycare.
Awesome.
That's not true. We started at Young World, which was the daycare inside 3 Links.
Oh, really?
So they had the intergenerational piece.
Oh, interesting.
I loved it. The grandmas and grandpas would love my babies. They would come down and read.
Nice.
And it was I was sad to see that close.
Yeah.
What did you do at St. Olaf?
I was in charge of their external communications, so I had
Makes sense.
My wife actually jokes about it. They offered me a job in head of PR, basically, and I turned them down, and they added things until I was interested. And she always jokes that when it was a nice manageable job, she was excited about it because we're both Olies, so she was excited about it. When it got more responsibility,
Okay.
she claims when it became unmanageable, that's when I got excited about it. I don't ever think it was unmanageable. It was a great job, and I appreciated the opportunity to work there, but I also found out I was better serving higher education from outside an organization than inside. So we have a lot of higher ed clients.
Okay.
But it's a different pace and I'd say a different level of politics than I'm interested in. So serving them is great because I can move on and work with other clients when they want to
Sure.
churn. And so it worked out great. And so we started this, we're now in our 25th year. So
that was one of my questions.
I'm sorry. we're just celebrating our 24th year right now. It's our anniversary. Do you want me to talk about this? Or?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it was on my, yeah.
All right. Well,
growing inside Northfield, growing with Northfield,
Yep.
growing to meet the needs of Northfield. That's all. Yeah. I love that stuff.
So we actually signed the Articles of Incorporation, or I signed them, on July 13th. And that's significant because it's my dad's birthday. He had passed away, and I had started in this field working with him. So it was a way of honoring him. In fact, it was a Saturday. It wasn't even a business day. And I signed the Articles of Incorporation, sent them to the Secretary of State. Secretary of State approved them 5 days later, which is my wife's birthday, and I saw that as a good omen. So it worked out.
Well, it must be because you're still here.
Yeah, right. It's worked out so far. So we're just in 2002. So we're just celebrating our 24th, meaning we're entering our 25th year of operation, which is great.
Well, I can remember that because my daughter's birthday is on Wednesday, so 2002.
Okay.
She was born, and now I'll remember your anniversary.
Yeah, right.
Your work anniversary.
Exactly.
That's a long time. That's a great run.
It's been a very good run, and we're going through our own transitions right now, which is good too. And we've been very fortunate to be able to do it in Northfield. I love Northfield as a community, and part of that is the business community, and part of it is what the Chamber brings to that. And I'm just a big fan of the city overall. I just think this is a great place to raise a family. It's a great place to live. It's a great place. I plan on being here the rest of my life.
That's important. I mean, there's so many people who are coming back home to Northfield.
Right.
A lot of the college kids, live their life and come back to Northfield.
Yeah.
Just because it's home. It's home, but yet it definitely has a vibrant business community. So, do you have any idea how many Northfield businesses you have served in 24 years?
Oh gosh.
I know I didn't set you up for this one. It wasn't on my list.
I don't know, and I probably shouldn't even take a guess, but I can start to work it out. I will say we have a good number of Northfield businesses or organizations, because some are not-for-profit organizations that we've served. I would say it's less than half of our business, though. So,
okay.
But it's a great place to base a business and serve the region. It's been fantastic. For a while, we had a Minneapolis presence as well. We closed that office because we were doing fine running from one place, and Northfield was the place for us. So that was great. But the numbers, I would have to say 20 to 30 probably different businesses that we've worked with over time. And we've served some as paying clients and some as pro bono clients. But we've had a good number. It's been a good place for us to have a base. And we count the Chamber as one of those clients, which is also
I was going to
nice.
say, we love it when we see you are on our board, like Northfield shares you're on the board, or Laura Baker. I mean, I've seen you on many, many boards. It's like, ooh, Dave's on our board.
Yeah.
He's a nice one to have on your board. He just kind of helps steer the board in good places.
I will say I just am a huge fan. Whenever I've served on a board, which is quite a few of those too, I have not found anything but deeply committed board members, whether it be Chamber board members or Northfield Historical Society or Laura Baker board or the CAC. You can kind of go through the list. This is a community with deeply committed people who really care about they're not doing it to get their name on a board list. They're doing it because they're passionate about the missions of the different organizations.
I second that. And you will see a lot of passion and knowledge. There's just endless opportunities and endless passion and endless needs being met around here. So I think the first time, before I came to the Chamber, I did I took care of some of my neighbors' kids while my kids were home for a while, and then I went to St. Dominic's School, and at the school took care of other people's children for years, And then I came to the chamber and I felt like I was just taking care of adults. Same
right.
same situations, just taller kids who.
I thought you were going to say a little less mature. No,
Well,
I'm kidding.
I didn't get that. I didn't finish my sentence yet. No, it's
No.
just it's my background is social work, so I love people.
Yeah.
I love connecting people, the connections you create, and one of the first people I met was you. I mean, logically, because I'm your neighbor and
Right.
you're my landlord, so
Right.
there I walk past your window all the time until you put that shade down. Now it's a little harder to see you working those late nights sitting at your desk, but I still kind of knock every once in a while and look in between
Sure.
the shades, so
Yeah.
let you know that we're thinking about
Yeah.
you. But the connections, just from my personal experience, sometimes the chamber helps businesses help the chamber. It's always a give and take.
Right.
Websites are not my thing, but they're your thing.
Right.
The amount of information, I didn't even know where to start. I mean, who's your host? Dave?
Yeah.
I think Dave hosts my website. I don't know, but just the quickness and the response when our website needed to be updated, and it was outdated yesterday, and your response to help us, or your team, maybe
Yep.
it was Daniel,
Right.
I'm not even
Yep.
100% sure which of them, but came through, and I actually got online with our software people and then our website people, and you guys connected. You kind of took me out of the middle and you fixed it all and brought me back in where I needed to be and just told me it's good to go. This is what you need to know
Right.
moving forward. And it was excellent.
Well, and I will tell you, many times I get credit for things I deserve no credit for. It would have probably, in that case, been Daniel Edwins who did it, if not somebody else on our team. But it wasn't me.
So, well, somebody had to hire Daniel.
Yeah.
So there's
And
that.
he's
Somebody had to
he
put the
is
team
totally
together.
awesome in the team. You will not hear a bigger advocate for that team. It's a great group of people, great group of professionals, and people as people. It's just I'm very fortunate. We were talking earlier about how it's time for me to look at retirement, and it's not because I don't love my job. I love my job. It's time to go to the next generation, and that's okay. That's a good thing because it's in good hands with those people in a very
no
meaningful
doubt.
way.
No doubt. Recently we had, well, as you know, and as I want you all to know, Neuger came right on board during COVID. The chamber, under the leadership of Lisa Peterson at the time,
Yeah.
did some restructuring and created different kinds of tiers. In the past, I don't know how much time we have, but chamber dues and investments were based on the size of your business,
Yep.
the number of employees. There was an additional fee, number of part-time, full-time, the number of partners that owned the business. There was an additional fee. The number of hotel beds you had, there was an additional fee. The amount of chairs in your restaurant, there was an additional fee. Same services, pretty much the same services across the board.
Right.
And it's very typical. Many chambers are still set up that way. But we brought in local business owners, a consultant who had done these tiered dues where you get what you want. And there's different levels. And we can't thank you and your team enough for coming in, probably our first stakeholder level. And you can cut this out if you need to, but for me, a stakeholder member, I need them more than they need me. I think their business is a leader in the community, a believer in the community. I think all the things that the chamber does for the small businesses, you wish you could do.
Sure.
The amount of connections, the amount of education,
Right.
the amount of shared resources that the chambers do for communities, if we wouldn't, I think for all of our stakeholders to be successful, we need all the businesses to be successful. And so for you to come in at that stakeholder level member just means a lot. It means trust, support, loyalty, and that's a kind of stakeholder, that's a kind of business I think we see you as in Northfield.
Well, thank you. And I will say, I think it's been a great partnership. I think there's a huge, I'm fond of saying, a rising tide floats all boats. And that's what the Chamber does. It raises the tide for everybody. So, and not everybody can necessarily sponsor at the highest level, but everybody can participate. Everybody can be a part of the process. And that's a value, some direct and some indirect, but of all of it is valuable. And part of that is because you and your team are committed to helping collaboration work real well. We work together, for instance, on the interaction with the city, on trying to make sure that things were going well in terms of collaborating between the chamber and the city. In some chambers I've seen, there's a very adversarial role, and I don't personally think that's healthy. I think you want to find a way to make it a win-win role for everybody. And
Absolutely.
You've done a great job with that with your team of working with Ben Martig and the city elected officials to make sure that we're all kind of moving the right direction together. And I think that's a huge plus.
Well, I learned so much that first meeting when we got together with you, and you outlined a communication tool. What are our priorities? And you gave us a blank piece of paper. Here's your priorities. Here, I was kind of waiting for someone to tell me my priorities.
Right.
But all that brainstorming was enlightening, and the way you pieced and paired and prioritized for us which is why you do what you do, I'm sure. But it doesn't help us see eye to eye on everything, but it helps us to pinpoint where we're not seeing eye to eye and what we can do to get there.
Right. And I think that's the point is you're not going to agree on everything. That's not the important part. The important part is to understand where everybody is in the process and try and get to a common success process. And that's the harder part to do, but because it's almost easier to fight. And quite frankly, in our current societal structure, we seem to embrace that a little too much, I would say. And
I try to stay off those social media sites.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's much more healthy, I think, to find ways to collaborate. And yes, you're going to stand up for your membership and what they need and want, and the city's going to stand up for what it needs and wants. But at the end of the day, good, solid communication will help you get. So it does become a win-win, which is great.
And I think that's what we bring to the table pretty well is the information, the stories, the difficulties existing businesses might be having with growth and expansion. And I don't always know the details, but I know how to connect the two people who need to hear the details and who need to tell the details, and get them together. So I would say the superpower is I don't know it all, but I know somebody who knows it all.
Yeah.
So connecting people, and I think part of this role has been advantageous where I am, it's like a badge where like I belong everywhere to a point. Then I need to get the people who need to be in it together. So it's been enlightening for me too to be able to communicate and get together with all these business leaders because we all want success.
Right. Well, I've basically looked at our investment in the chamber as really for three primary reasons. There's probably a boatload of reasons that I wouldn't name because you're not going to give me 3 hours to do this. But if I was to
go on.
If I was going to pick three, I would pick one, networking, and these are not necessarily in any particular order, but networking, connecting with others in the business community, understanding how we can work together, understanding where the opportunities are to partner for business development. So that's one. I think 2 is education.
Excuse me.
Education, I think of, in fact, we've got somebody, I can't remember what your program's called now, but
Leadership?
yes, it's the leadership program, but isn't there a formal name for it?
Leadership Northfield.
Okay.
Very formal.
Okay.
Yeah,
that-
very
I wonder why I couldn't
descriptive.
come up with that. Well, but I think May is in that right now, but we've had others in that as well, and we've also served as resource for that. So,
Yep.
so the education component, and that's just one example, but it's a really good example of education. So, and then the third is the whole concept of elevating the business community, the whole concept of a rising tide floats all boats. I think if I was going to narrow it down to 3, those would probably be at
Well,
the top
thank
of the
you.
list. So,
Well, those are 3 very good ones. I couldn't agree more.
and I do think there's more. So, I mean, I really don't mean to shortchange the other things that you do, because you get an amazing amount done for the staff and time you've got available. So I don't mean to shortchange the other things, because there are many other events that aren't automatically networking or aren't automatically education.
This is why I had you on my show. We'll have you on and when we have 3 hours to
All
spare.
right.
No, I appreciate that, because it, some days I feel like I'm spinning my wheels,
Yeah.
but it is ultimately, like they say, my door is always open. And
Right.
if there's ideas out there that business owners need and aren't getting it, let's see what we can do.
Sure.
I'm not going to say 100% yes, but it's yes and yes how.
Right.
Now that I've just learned so much from the community, the business owners, because personally I've never been a business owner, but like I said, as a social worker, I think I see a lot of the opportunities to get us through a process,
Right. Yeah.
one at a time. But I love this job. I love the people that I have been able to meet, and I love May. She is just a doll.
I am a huge fan of hers. She's local girl made good.
Yeah,
I should say woman, I guess, but local person made good. And we have Daniel Edwins is another one who's probably our longest. He's been here almost 20 years, I want to say. So he started.
Okay.
He started when he was in college, actually, but started full time right after college and has been here ever since. And he's just a gem. So is May. So we just have a small but mighty team, and they're good. I've been really blessed to have quality people who have wanted to come. I claim they look and say, "Oh, that poor guy, he needs all the help he can get." So they come work here.
They do. Well, I called out May because she had been part of our leadership group this last 9 months.
Yes.
And when I couldn't be there for something, I'd call her. I go, "Can you introduce this group for me until I get there?" And yep. I need to leave early for something. Are you able to take on the leadership role?
Yeah.
And she's like, "Absolutely." So she is a yes person. And I think early on, we have the participants do an icebreaker the first half hour.
Yeah.
And I think she was one of the first ones. It was all about music, if I remember. She knows a lot about music. But it was, so that's, I guess, why I called out May.
Yeah.
No offense to anybody else.
No,
but she's been stepping up, and the group is 4. So here's an interesting, one of our our presenters was talking about leadership. And if you lead from the front, if you lead from the side, if you lead from behind.
Mm-hmm.
And I discovered I lead from behind, which was interesting. I don't lead from the front as well, but my job is to push the businesses, and I lead them from behind. So it made a lot of sense that's where I am most comfortable, I think. Starting to get from the side. But I've already forgotten where I was going to go with that. Talking about this group should we call them emerging leaders or expanding leaders?
Oh, interesting.
I kind of liked expanding leaders because they're all investing in the program
Right.
to be future leaders and more invested into the decisions that are made in Northfield.
Right.
So emerging or expanding?
I think they're both good words, and it's. I mean, one of the things I think makes a ton of sense is this. This, in my mind, and I don't know if you shaped it this way or not, to be honest, but this is the kind of next generation of leadership. So there's plenty of people my age or around my age, and we need the wave that's coming after this group. And I mean, we're a perfect example of that here. Our next wave is, 30 and 40 somethings, which is great. I started, I think, when I was in this particular business. I think I was, well, I can do the math, can't I? 46, I think. So,
Okay.
so I was in my 40s, and and I'd run a business before that in the Twin Cities. So I've had that opportunity, but I remember for years I was the young guy at the board table, and now I'm the old timer, which is okay. I'm comfortable being the old timer. I was comfortable being the young guy. So
Well, the wisdom that you bring, yeah, the experience is invaluable. But I do agree, yeah. It actually, this kind of side note, the Chamber is looking at some sort of program for the businesses who all should be having a succession transaction plan
Yep.
already, regardless of if you're 46 or 106.
Right.
So we are putting a team together for succession planning, and who could be a part of that team and just help with plans and having these young business owners know what to do. When do you start thinking about succeeding your business to the next generation? That's the day you start your business.
Well, I think so. And part of it is because you're not planning on leaving next year, but we don't get to control our future. And so if nothing else, you need an emergency succession plan. So if the unthinkable happens, things can either go on or at least wind down
with a plan.
So that it starts when you start your business, I think, and it doesn't end till you're gone, till you're out of the business, one way or the other. And all those steps are really important because life doesn't stand still either. The way we look at our succession in 2026 is pretty darn different than it looked in 2010. And life has changed. I mean, I think of the things that I'll give a little cue on my age. When I started in business, there was no personal computer. It was all typewriters. I mean, there was no software for design. It was all handworked by a designer who had a lot more talent than me. But the other part is, or take it to today with AI, it's ever changing. It doesn't mean that, for instance, I always say when desktop publishing came out, everybody thought, oh, everybody can design a newsletter now, or everybody can do that. That's not, they can do it. They can't do it well.
Right.
And to this day, I know how to use the tool. You wouldn't want me designing your newsletter or your brochure or your website. We've got graphic designers who do that.
True.
And they do it extraordinarily well, and I do it extraordinarily poorly. But that's true with everything. That's true with AI. You can't just give AI some background information and expect the tool to write a great piece of copy for your website or for your brochure or for your newsletter. It takes still human thought, and maybe the day will come where it doesn't take that, but we're nowhere near it right now.
Yeah, there's a difference.
So,
Absolutely. I do, truth be told, I use it to polish some of my things or my sentences. I'm pretty blunt, sometimes more blunt than proper, so it'll help me there.
Well, there's certainly a place. I mean, there's a place for desktop publishing too. So, and they don't even call it that anymore. But there's a place for it for sure. It's a matter of what is the role of it and how can it be used efficiently, as opposed to there, I can take that off my plate because I gave an AI platform the way to handle this.
When I started at the Chamber, I got a colored copier, so I could make my own brochures, my own logos, and not so much.
Right.
But now I have colored letterhead. That's about all I do with it.
Yep. Right. Yeah.
But there is a place for everything.
Right.
And one of the topics we just had in our leadership session was an AI strategist came in talking about, what do you need? Do you need how to use it for marketing, how to write the prompts for proper outcome, or how to write policy and ethics for your whole group to use it? I mean, just the vast, challenges and opportunities it's opening up is, I'm sure I don't even know the depth of it as I'm speaking, but.
Right. You say challenges and opportunities. I'm fond, I have been for a long time, my staff is probably sick of hearing it, but I'm fond of saying the world is full of tensions. And our job is to make them healthy tensions, because they can be healthy tensions. And with AI, as an example, the tension is between doing something that gives you some additional skills and talent because it can do some things, and still keeping it human and keeping it relevant to what you're trying to accomplish, because it's not all the way there. So, but there is a healthy tension that comes from using it effectively and still relying on professionals in whatever field. For us, it's communications, but for the next person, it's whatever their field is. And so there's a place for it. It's a matter of using it effectively and not assuming it's a cure-all.
And that's a whole nother 3-hour conversation right there, exactly. I'm sure.
Yeah.
So how do you think, or how do you feel that Neuger has contributed to Northfield in general?
Oh, gosh.
I mean, I can answer that, but I'm going to have you go first.
I will say, well, one, I think we've been committed to the community. So in some cases, it's through financial gifts, in some cases through pro bono expertise, in some cases through paid expertise. So it's taking our values of integrity, excellence, and success and saying that's going to be a part of how we live as a business. And so we do, and we take those 3 values, which have been with us since the beginning, very seriously. In fact, anytime we hire somebody, we say, these are our 3 core values. You can have other values, but you need to be able to say, yes, those are my values. Because I'm fond of saying people are whole cloth. You don't have one set of values at home and another at work. You can't change who you are. And to be honest, it's a little bit mom and apple pie-ish. Integrity, excellence, success. I've never had anybody actually say, no, I don't believe in any of those. But that's a basis for an ongoing conversation. So if we do things either here or in the community, we live by those values, and they're really important to us.
And I was going to say passion. And it emanates in what you do, where you show up, what you bring to the table. Your actions speak your values. I would add passionate in there too. Committed. There's so many other ones you could add in there, but I've seen that from the beginning. So very pleased that we're right next door, that you appreciate my sense of humor, because sometimes it's, maybe a little misplaced, but I love going by your window and tapping you, giving you a hard time when it's 9 o'clock.
I love that too, just so
9
you know.
o'clock at night,
Right.
and there you are. So
well, hopefully less nowadays, but it's still, there are times where I am, for sure. And I've been very fortunate for over a 40-plus year career to never look at my watch and think, oh, when's 5 o'clock going to roll around? It's always, oh my gosh, it's already 6 o'clock or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm luckier than I am smart. And I've been lucky enough to find a career that I love, and I am passionate about it. I think it's really important. I'm a huge believer that communications makes the world go around, and usually for good, not always for good, but there's nothing like it. And we've got really talented people in this field, including the person who's taping us right now,
I know,
Johnny
right?
Weaver. I mean,
Here's to Johnny.
So, I mean, there's quality people, and I think quality people are attracted to this community. I think we have a good thing going here as a community, and it's a little bit like my business. I always say we're small enough that any one person can have a huge impact on our culture. And my biggest job is to make sure I don't hire somebody who's going to screw that up. and it's a little bit true of the community too. You want to attract people who are committed, passionate, care about their fellow citizens and their community. And Northfield's done a good job of that over time, I think.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting thought. Yeah, I agree. Well said.
Thank you.
I'm thinking we should tie this up.
All right.
Unless you got any final parting words of wisdom. You've shared a lot.
I don't know that I have any words of wisdom, but I will say I've enjoyed the conversation. I will also say that I think if we can get more people involved in not just the chamber, although the chamber for sure, but also in the community and nonprofit organizations, and actually businesses supporting local businesses. I think that if I was going to pick one thing that I think we fall down on a little bit is if we went around the corner, we'd have all kinds of awards on the wall back there that are for award-winning work in the communications field. Most of them are not from Northfield businesses. A couple are. But most of them come from either the Twin Cities or somewhere else in the region. And there are times where I feel like you can do world-class work and be ignored in your local community, a prophet not being welcome in their own land. And that's not just for us. In general, I think local businesses should support local businesses because that will make us better overall. That'll make everybody better.
Yeah.
And not that people should just use it because it's local. They've got to provide value, and they've got to make sure that they're providing something that's needed by whoever it is, whether it be a customer in the local store or a business-to-business relationship. That's all really important. But I think more often than not, you can find it in Northfield. And the caliber of the work and the caliber of the people is unsurpassed.
My son lives up in the cities, but he gets his hair cut down at Adam. Once a month he comes back. And he probably will for quite a while. And then he stops to get some spices next door, and his heart is in Northfield.
Yeah. My son and granddaughter and grandson all go to a dentist in Northfield still. Well,
and they don't live in Northfield?
No, they live in Hopkins. He does teach at St. Olaf part-time now, but he was going to the dentist down here since he was a youth, and he's stayed with him, and he's brought his kids since. So
quality.
It's a great place. It really is a great place.
So, in your words, onward and upward.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%.
That just came to me. I didn't have that written down.
That sounds great.
Thank you so much for your time and information. I learned a few things too. I always do. So
thanks, Jane.
Thank you. Podcast number 2.
All right.
In the books.
Great.
Thanks for listening to the Northfield Area Chamber Podcast, produced in collaboration with Johnny Weaver Storytelling. For more information about the Northfield Chamber, go to northfieldchamber.com. For more information about Neuger or to schedule a meeting with them, go to neuger.com. I'm Chamber President Jane Bartho, signing off. See you next time.